Wife hid affair with husband's dying best friend. The secret child shattered everything. Asterisk. The rain strikes the hospital window like accusations. Claire presses her palm against the cool glass, watching droplets race down the surface while David sleeps in the bed behind her. His breathing is shallow now, labored. The cancer has stolen so much: his strength, his laughter, the easy way he used to fill a room with warmth. You shouldn't be here this late. Her husband's voice cuts through the sterile quiet. She doesn't turn around, can't. Not when her reflection in the window shows everything she's trying to hide: the flush in her cheeks, the tremor in her hands, the way her heart races whenever she's near David now. He asked me to stay, she whispers. It's not a lie. David had gripped her hand when visiting hours ended, his fingers surprisingly strong for someone fading away. Don't leave me alone tonight, Claire. Please. Robert's footsteps approach slowly. She can smell his cologne, expensive, familiar, distant. When did the scent of her own husband start feeling like a stranger's? The doctors say it could be soon. His reflection joins hers in the glass. 20 years of marriage, and they stand like strangers now, careful not to touch. A few weeks, maybe less. Claire closes her eyes. Behind her lids, she sees David as he was 6 months ago, before the diagnosis, before everything changed. He'd been helping her plant roses in the backyard while Robert worked late again. His hands had covered hers on the spade, and for just a moment, time had stopped. I've always wondered what it would be like to make you smile, really smile. Not the polite one you wear for Robert's colleagues. That's when it started. The lingering glances, the conversations that ran to deep, to personal. The way her skin would burn wherever he accidentally touched her. Claire. Robert's voice pulls her back. Are you listening? She turns finally, meeting his tired eyes. Her husband looks older than his 45 years. Gray creeps through his dark hair, and lines bracket his mouth, lines that used to come from smiling, now etched by stress and long hours at the firm. I said I'll handle the funeral arrangements. David doesn't have anyone else. The words hit her like a physical blow. Funeral arrangements, as if David is already gone. As if the man who makes her feel alive for the first time in years is just another task on Robert's endless list. Don't. The word escapes before she can stop it. Robert's eyebrows rise. Don't. What? Don't reduce him to paperwork. Don't speak about him like he's already dead. Don't stand there in your expensive suit talking about arrangements when you haven't spent more than 10 minutes at his bedside. But she can't say any of that. Instead, she moves toward David's sleeping form, her heart clenching at how fragile he looks. His dark hair is gone now, lost to chemo, but his face in sleep still holds echoes of the man who used to make Robert laugh until his sides ached, who taught their son how to throw a curveball, who looked at her last week like she was the most beautiful woman in the world. He's not gone yet, she says softly. Behind her, Robert sighs. Claire, I know this is hard. He's been my best friend since college, but we need to be practical. Practical. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Right? Of course. When did practical become their language? When did they stop talking about dreams, fears, desires? When did Robert stop looking at her like she mattered beyond her ability to host dinner parties? And remember his dry cleaning. David stirs, his eyes fluttering open, even weakened, even dying. Those green eyes still hold warmth. Still see her, Claire? His voice is barely a whisper. You stayed. Of course. She reaches for his hand before she can think, their fingers intertwining naturally. His skin is warm, real, alive. I promised. She doesn't see Robert's sharp intake of breath, doesn't notice how her husband's jaw tightens as he watches their joined hands. All she sees is David, fighting to sit up, fighting to live a little longer. Robert. David's eyes find his old friend. Glad you came back. Just checking on you before I head home. Robert's voice is carefully neutral, professional. Claire, we should go. You have the charity luncheon tomorrow. Stay, David whispers, and the word hangs between them like a secret. His eyes never leave hers. Please. The monitors beep steadily. Rain continues its assault on the window. And in that sterile room, with her husband watching, Claire makes a choice that will change everything. I'm staying. The charity luncheon is a parade of forced smiles and careful conversations. Claire moves through the crowd at the country club like she's floating underwater. Every interaction muffled and strange. The other wives compliment her dress navy, silk that cost more than most people make in a month. But she can't remember putting it on this morning. All she remembers is David's face when she finally had to leave the hospital at dawn. The way he'd whispered thank you when he thought Robert couldn't hear. The way her name sounded different on his lips, like a prayer, like a secret. Mrs. Harrison. Your thoughts on the silent auction? Claire blinks, focusing on Margaret Brennan's expectant face. The hospital board president, whose husband golfs with Robert every Saturday, whose marriage is as perfectly arranged as her pearl necklace. I think it's wonderful. Claire manages, for such a good cause. The irony isn't lost on her. Here she is, raising money for the cancer ward where David lies dying, while her marriage crumbles and her heart breaks open in ways she didn't know were possible. Her phone buzzes. David's name lights up the screen, and her pulse quickens. Watching. Clouds from my window. They look like you, beautiful and unreachable. Her fingers hover over the keyboard. She shouldn't respond. Not here. Surrounded by women who would dissect every expression on her face. Not when Robert's colleagues' wife is already watching her with curious eyes. You shouldn't text things like that. Why? Because you're married to my best friend. Because I'm dying. Or because you feel it too. The phone nearly slips from her trembling hands. Around her, the luncheon continues, clinking glasses, polite laughter, the orchestrated dance of upper class charity. But all she can see are David's words, bold and honest in a way that makes her chest tight. Excuse me, she murmurs to no one in particular, walking quickly toward the ladies' room. The bathroom is empty, all marble and mirrors that show too much. Claire grips the sink, staring at her reflection. Her lipstick is still perfect, her hair is still swept back in the elegant chignon Robert prefers. But her eyes give everything away. I shouldn't be texting you at all, but you are. David. I dream about you, Claire. Even with all these drugs, even dying, I dream about what it would be like to touch you properly, to show you how a woman like you should be loved. Heat floods through her, shameful and intoxicating. She should turn off the phone, should go back to the luncheon and pretend she's the same woman she was this morning. Should be the dutiful wife who raises money for cancer research and doesn't fall for dying men. Stop, can't, won't. I don't have time for should and shouldn't anymore. You're Robert's best friend, and you're Robert's wife who looks at me like I'm the only man in the world. Do you think he doesn't see it? The way you light up when I text, the way you touch your lips after you've been talking to me. Claire's reflection stares back, cheeks flushed, breathing shallow. When did this happen? When did she become the kind of woman who hides in bathroom stalls, exchanging forbidden messages with her husband's dying friend? This is wrong. This is the first right thing I've felt in 20 years. The bathroom door swings open. Claire, are you all right, dear? Margaret. Brennan's voice cuts through the haze. Claire shoves her phone into her purse, forcing a smile. Just needed a moment. The speeches were so moving. Margaret's eyes are sharp, calculating. Yes. Well, charity work can be overwhelming. All that suffering to consider. They return to the luncheon together, but Claire feels exposed now. Like everyone can see the want written across her skin. She picks at her salmon, makes appropriate responses to appropriate questions, and counts the minutes until she can escape. When Robert calls during dessert, she steps outside to take it. How's the luncheon? His voice is distracted. She can hear papers rustling, the click of his keyboard. Fine. The usual. She watches valets bring cars around. Efficient and invisible. How's the Morrison case? Complicated. I'll be late tonight. Don't wait up. Don't wait up. When was the last time she'd actually waited up for Robert? When was the last time he'd wanted her to? I was thinking of stopping by the hospital this evening. A pause. Claire, you've been there every day this week. He doesn't have anyone else. He has nurses, doctors. He has me when I can get away from work. When you can get away. David is dying, and Robert schedules him like a client meeting. I'll just stay for an hour. Another pause, longer this time. Fine. But don't exhaust yourself. You know how you get when you're overtired. The line goes dead. Claire stares at her phone, wondering when her husband started talking to her like She was fragile, troublesome, wondering when she started letting him. Her phone buzzes again. Nurse says you might come by tonight. I'll try to stay awake. Robert thinks, I'm getting overtired. Robert thinks a lot of things. Question is, what do you think? Claire looks back at the country club, where the wives are finishing their parfaits and planning their next charitable obligation, where her life waits like a beautiful prison. I think I'm in trouble. Good. Trouble looks beautiful on you. I can't keep doing this. Can't keep doing what? Feeling alive. The truth hits her like a physical blow. That's exactly what this is, feeling alive. For the first time in years, she's not just going through the motions of her perfectly ranged life. She's burning, aching, wanting something fierce and real. I'm scared. Of me. Of myself. Come tonight. Please. I need to see you. Really see you. Not just stolen glances when Robert's looking away. Claire's hands shake as she types okay. She doesn't realize she's crossing a line she can never uncross. Doesn't realize that in one word, she's changed everything. The hospital corridors are quieter at night. Claire's heels echo against polished floors as she makes her way to David's room, carrying coffee she knows he can't drink, and flowers that seem inadequate against the weight of what she's feeling. He's awake when she enters, sitting up despite the obvious effort it costs him. The evening light filters through his window, casting shadows that somehow make him look more like the man she remembers, strong, vital, achingly alive. You came. His voice is soft, wondering, like he half expected her to lose her nerve. I said I would. She sets the flowers on his nightstand, hyper-aware of every movement, every breath. The room feels smaller tonight, more intimate. How are you feeling? Like I'm dying. The words are matter of fact, but his eyes never leave her face. But better now. Claire settles into the chair beside his bed, the same chair where she's spent so many hours these past weeks. But tonight feels different. Tonight, the careful distance they've maintained seems impossible to sustain. The flowers are beautiful, he says, roses, like the ones we planted, we. The word hangs between them, loaded with memory. That afternoon in her garden, when his hands had covered hers, when she'd first realized she was in trouble. David. She needs to say it before she loses her nerve. We can't keep doing this, talking. You know what I mean. The texts, the way we. She gestures helplessly between them. Robert is your best friend. Robert is my best friend who hasn't noticed that his wife is drowning. David's voice is gentle but implacable. When's the last time he really looked at you, Claire? When's the last time he asked what you wanted? What you dreamed about? What made you happy? She wants to defend her husband, to list all his good qualities, his success, his stability, the way he provides for her. But under David's steady gaze, those virtues feel hollow. That's not the point, isn't it? David shifts, and she automatically reaches out to help him, her hands settling on his arms. He goes still under her touch, and she realizes she should pull away but can't make herself move. What's the point then? The point is, her voice fades as she becomes aware of how close they are, how her thumbs are unconsciously tracing small circles on his skin. The point is, this is wrong. Look at me. When she doesn't immediately comply, he reaches up, his fingers feather light against her chin, turning her face toward his. Really look at me. She does, and it's a mistake. His green eyes hold everything she's been trying to ignore. What? Tenderness, a desperate kind of honesty that takes her breath away. I'm going to die, Claire. Maybe next week, maybe next month, but soon. And I will go to my grave loving you, whether you let me or not. His thumb traces her lower lip, the touch, so gentle it's almost imaginary. The question is, will you let yourself love me back while there's still time? David. His name is barely a whisper. I think about you constantly. The way you bite your lip when you're thinking. The way you laugh at my terrible jokes. The way you see me, not the dying man, not Robert's friend, just me. His hand moves to cup her cheek, and she finds herself leaning into the touch despite herself. Do you have any idea how rare that is? How precious? Tears she's been holding back for weeks finally spill over. This is impossible, maybe. But it's also real. He leans closer, close enough that she can feel his breath against her lips. More real than anything I've felt in 20 years of friendship with your husband. He loves you. He loves the idea of me, the college buddy who makes Him feel young. But he doesn't love you, not the way you deserve to be loved. The words hit her like a physical blow because they're true. Robert loves her the way he loves his other possessions, his cars, his house, his career achievements. She's beautiful, appropriate, well-trained. But when was the last time he'd looked at her like she was necessary to his happiness? You don't know what you're asking. I'm not asking for anything. David's other hand finds hers, their fingers intertwining. I'm just telling you that I love you. Completely, impossibly. And if you feel even a fraction of what I do, I do. The admission tears out of her before she can stop it. God help me, I do. Something shifts in his expression, relief, joy, a devastating tenderness that makes her chest ache. Claire. He leans forward, and she knows she should pull away, should remember where they are, who they are to each other. But she can't. His lips brush hers so softly she might have imagined it. Except for the way her entire body comes alive at the contact. The kiss deepens slowly, carefully, like he's savoring every moment. His hands frame her face, thumbs wiping away tears. She didn't realize were still falling. She tastes salt and desperation and something that might be hope. When they finally break apart, she's shaking. I love you too, she whispers against his lips. I love you, and it's going to destroy everything. Maybe. He rests his forehead against hers. Or maybe it's the only thing that can save us. The door opens with a sharp click. Claire, Robert's voice cuts through the intimate quiet like a blade. What the hell is going on? Robert stands frozen in the doorway, his expensive suit wrinkled from a long day, his face cycling through confusion, disbelief, and finally, cold understanding. In his hands, he clutches a legal folder work that followed him even here, even to his dying friend's bedside. Claire jerks back from David as if burned, but it's too late. The damage is written across Robert's face, in the careful way he sets down his folder, in the controlled precision of his movements as he steps into the room and closes the door behind him. Well, his voice is conversational, almost pleasant. It's the tone he uses with opposing counsel, right before he destroys their case. This is illuminating. David doesn't flinch, doesn't look away, even dying. He has more courage than she does. Robert, no. Robert holds up a hand, his wedding ring catching the fluorescent light. 20 years of marriage reduced to a thin gold band that suddenly feels heavy as a chain around Claire's finger. Let me process this. My wife and my best friend, in my friend's hospital room. How predictable. The word lands like a slap. Predictable. As if they're love because that's what it is, love. Fierce and impossible and real is nothing more than a tired cliché. It's not what you think. Claire starts, but Robert's laugh cuts her off, isn't it? Because what I think is that while I've been working 18-hour days to pay for your charity luncheons and your perfect life, you've been fucking my dying best friend. Robert, David's voice is steady, stronger than it's been in weeks. Don't talk to her like that. Don't talk to her like that. Robert's composure finally cracks. 20 years of friendship shattering in his voice. She's my wife, David. My wife. And you're supposed to be my friend. I am your friend. I've been your friend since we were 19 years old. But I'm also in love with your wife. And she loves me back. The honesty of it, the simple, devastating truth hangs in the sterile air. Claire watches her husband process it, sees the moment. He truly understands that this isn't just physical. Isn't just a mistake born of proximity and grief. This is love, and that makes it so much worse. How long? Robert's question is directed at Claire, but she can't seem to find her voice. How long? Claire, it's not, we haven't. She stumbles over words that used to come so easily at dinner, parties, in courtroom wives' circles, in all the places where she played the role of perfect spouse. Haven't what? Haven't been sneaking around behind my back? Haven't been texting each other like teenagers? I'm not stupid, Claire. I've seen the way you look at him. I just thought. He laughs bitterly. I thought you had enough respect for our marriage to resist temptation. Our marriage? The words explode out of her with 20 years of suppressed frustration. What marriage, Robert? The one where you work until midnight every day, where you schedule me like an appointment. Where you haven't touched me, really touched me in 2 years. I provide for you. I give you everything you could want, everything but yourself. She's standing now, shaking with rage and grief, and the relief of finally saying what she's felt for so long. When's the last time we had a real conversation? When's the last time you asked me what I wanted instead of telling me what I needed? This is what you wanted. Robert gestures between her and David. To betray me, to humiliate me. I wanted to feel alive again. I wanted to matter to someone. You matter to me. I'm an accessory to you, a beautiful, well-trained accessory who hosts your dinner parties and looks good at your work functions. But David sees me, really sees me. Robert turns to his oldest friend, and Claire sees something break in his face. Is that true? Do you see her? Or do you just see what you can't have? David meets his gaze steadily. I see the woman you stopped appreciating years ago. The woman who lights up when she talks about books you never let her finish. Who used to paint before you convinced her it was impractical. Who gives and gives and gives until there's nothing left for herself, and you think you can give her what she needs. You're dying, David. Which is why I won't waste the time I have left pretending I don't love her. The words hit Robert like physical blows. He staggers slightly, gripping the back of a chair for support. 23 years, he whispers. 23 years of friendship. I didn't want this to happen, David says quietly. I fought it for months, but love doesn't care about timing or circumstances or who gets hurt. Love. Robert spits the word like poison. This isn't love. This is selfishness. This is you deciding that because you're dying, you get to take whatever you want. And this is her. He looks at Claire with eyes she doesn't recognize, cold and distant and full of contempt. This is her proving that she's exactly as weak as I always suspected she was. The accusation hits harder than anything else he could have said. Weak. Is that really how he sees her? How he's always seen her? I'm not weak, she says quietly. No. Then what do you call this? What do you call throwing away 20 years of marriage for a man he'll be dead in a month? I call it being human. I call it feeling something real for the first time in years. Real. Robert straightens his tie. A gesture so familiar it breaks her heart. Well, let's talk about reality then. Reality is that David will be dead soon, and you'll be alone. Reality is that I will never forgive this betrayal. Reality is that you've destroyed everything we built together for a fantasy. David struggles to sit up straighter. Robert, please, don't punish her for loving someone who loves her back. Don't. Robert's voice is deadly quiet. Don't you dare try to justify this. Don't you dare make yourself the hero in this story. He moves toward the door, then stops, his hand on the handle. I'll be filing for divorce as soon as I can get the papers drawn up. You can fight me on it if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. I know exactly how to make your life hell in court, and I will use every resource at my disposal to ensure you get nothing. Nothing. Robert, wait, but he's already gone. The door clicking shut behind him with terrible finality. In the sudden silence, Claire sinks back into her chair, her legs unable to support her weight. 20 years of marriage ended in 5 minutes of brutal honesty. I'm sorry, David whispers, reaching for her hand. I'm so sorry, Claire. I never wanted it to happen like this. She looks at him, really looks at him. His face is gray with exhaustion, his breathing labored from the emotional stress. He's dying, and she's just destroyed her marriage for him, and somehow none of it feels like a mistake. Are you? She asks. Are you really sorry? He considers the question seriously, the way he considers everything. I'm sorry you're hurt. I'm sorry Robert's hurt. I'm sorry this is complicated and messy and impossible. His fingers tighten around hers. But I'm not sorry I love you. I could never be sorry about that. Outside, storm clouds gather, promising another night of rain. Against the windows, inside, Claire holds the hand of the man she loves and wonders what comes next when everything you've built your life on crumbles around you. What do we do now? She whispers. Now. David brings her hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to her knuckles. Now we love each other for as long as we can, and we pray it's enough. 3 months later, Claire stands in the empty house that used to be her home, surrounded by boxes and the ghosts of 20 years of marriage. Robert had been efficient, as he was with everything: divorce papers filed within a week, assets divided with surgical precision, their shared life dissected and distributed like evidence in a case. She'd gotten the house and the settlement, but she can't afford to keep it. Too many memories anyway. Too many rooms that echo with conversations they'd stopped having years ago. The pregnancy test lies hidden in her purse, to pink lines that change everything again. She discovered it 2 days ago, a month after David's funeral, and she hasn't been able to process the implications. David's child, growing inside her while she packs up the ruins of her marriage. The front door opens, and her heart jumps, an old reflex from months of hoping Robert might come home early, might want to talk, might remember how to love her. But it's just the real estate agent, immaculate in her navy suit, ready to list another broken home. Mrs. Harrison, I have the paperwork ready for your signature. Mrs. Harrison. She's kept Robert's name through the divorce, partly out of habit, partly because Claire Donovan feels like someone she used to be a lifetime ago. But now, with David's child growing inside her, even that identity feels borrowed. Of course, Claire signs where indicated, her hand steady despite the earthquake happening in her chest. When do you think it might sell? Market's competitive, but it's a beautiful property. I'd say 6 months, maybe less. 6 months. By then, she'll be showing. By then, she'll have to decide what to do with the secret that could destroy what little remains of her relationship with Robert, or heal something she didn't know could be mended. After the agent leaves, Claire climbs the stairs one last time to what used to be their bedroom. She'd already moved David's letters here, the ones he'd written in the hospital during his final weeks, when he was too weak to speak, but not too weak to love her, in words that took her breath away. She pulls out the last one now, the one she hasn't been able to read since the funeral. My darling Claire, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and you're trying to figure out how to live in a world that suddenly makes less sense. I wish I could be there to help you navigate it, but since I can't, let me tell you what I know about love. Love isn't practical. It doesn't fit into schedules or 5-year plans. It doesn't care about timing or circumstances or who gets hurt in the process. Love simply is, fierce and wild and completely beyond our control. You loved me, and I loved you. And for a brief, shining moment, that was enough. It was everything. I know you feel guilty about Robert, about our friendship, about the way everything fell apart. But guilt is just love with nowhere to go. And you have too much love left to waste it on regret. Robert will heal. He's stronger than he knows. And somewhere underneath all that anger is a man who loved you the best way he knew how. It wasn't the way you needed to be loved, but that doesn't make it worthless. And you, my beautiful Claire, you will heal too. You will find your way to a life that fits who you really are, not who everyone else needs you to be. You will paint again. You will laugh without permission. You will love someone who sees you the way I saw you, completely and without reservation. But first, you have to forgive yourself for being human, for wanting more, for choosing love over safety, even when it meant breaking things that seemed unbreakable. I don't regret a single moment we had together. Not the stolen conversations, not the careful touches, not the way you made me feel alive even as I was dying. If I had to do it again, knowing the pain it would cause, I would choose you every time. You are worth choosing, Claire. You are worth fighting for. You are worth loving with everything someone has to give. Never forget that. All my love, always. David Press. Check the garden. I had something delivered before I got too sick to arrange it. Claire's tears fall onto the paper, smudging ink that's already precious beyond measure. She folds the letter carefully, then makes her way downstairs and out to the backyard where she and David had planted roses together all those months ago. There, beside the rosebush where it all began, stands a small memorial stone. Nothing elaborate, just simple gray granite engraved with words that make her heart stop. Love doesn't end with death. It just finds new ways to bloom. She sinks to her knees beside it, one hand pressed to her still flat stomach, and finally lets herself grieve. Not just for David, but for her marriage, for the woman she used to be, for all the years she spent settling for less than she deserved. The baby moves impossible at only 8 weeks, but she swears she feels it anyway. A flutter of possibility, of hope, of love that survived even death. Her phone rings. Robert's name appears on the screen, and for a moment, she considers not answering. They haven't spoken since the day he'd walked out of David's hospital room, and she doesn't know if she's ready for whatever he has to say. But something may be courage. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the certainty that comes with carrying new life makes. Her answer, "Hello, Robert." Claire. His voice sounds different, older, maybe. Worn down by months of anger and grief. I heard about the house, that you're selling. Yes. The agent thinks it should go quickly. A long pause. Then I went to David's grave today. First time since the funeral. Claire's breath catches. Oh, I was so angry with him, with you, with myself for not seeing what was happening right in front of me. Another pause. But standing there today, looking at his headstone, I realized something. What? He's dead, and I'm not, you're not, and all this anger. It's not bringing him back or fixing our marriage or changing what happened. It's just making everything hurt more. Claire closes her eyes, her free hands still pressed against the memorial stone. Robert, I'm not saying I forgive you. I'm not saying I understand. But I'm saying that maybe we both lost more than we had to. What are you asking? I don't know. I guess I'm asking if you're happy. If choosing him over me was worth it. The question hangs between them, loaded with 20 years of history and 3 months of silence. Claire looks at the roses they'd planted together, blooming despite everything that's happened, and thinks about the child growing inside her David's. Child, a secret that could shatter Robert all over again or somehow, impossibly, heal them both. I'm not happy, she says finally, but I'm not sorry either. Does that make sense? No. But nothing about this situation has ever made sense. Claire laughs, surprising them both. Remember when our biggest problem was which country club to join? Remember when we used to talk to each other instead of at each other? The admission hangs in the air, painful and honest and somehow hopeful. Robert. Claire says quietly, there's something I need to tell you. Something about David, about me, about not yet. He interrupts gently. Whatever it is, I'm not ready to hear it yet. But maybe someday I will be. Okay, take care of yourself, Claire. You deserve that much. The line goes dead, and Claire sits in her garden, holding her phone and David's secret, and the possibility that love, even broken love, might find a way to survive after all. Above her, clouds part to let through late afternoon sun, warming her face and painting the roses gold. In 6 months, she'll have a new home, a new life, and a baby who will never know his father, but will carry his love forward into the world. It's not the ending she planned, but it's hers, and it's real, and it's enough. For now, it's enough.